So we heard Ben Davison, Tyson Fury's trainer, and WBC President Mauricio Suleiman both suggest that Tyson Fury's next fight may not be against Deontay Wilder. Ben Davison suggested that Joshua and Wilder need to fight first, and then the winner take on Tyson Fury. And that's definitely something I agree with. And that begs the question, what next for Tyson Fury then? If it's not the Deontay Wilder rematch, what's he going to do? Is he just going to wait around to take on the winner of Joshua against Wilder? Maybe he will. Maybe he thinks that's the best route to go down. Will he have a few stay busy fights? At the end of the day, this is the advantage of being a contender rather than a champion, is when you're waiting for your next title fight, you don't have to take on people in the top 10. You don't have to take on someone who is ranked by your particular sanctioning body, because if you look at the rankings of all the different sanctioning bodies, they don't all have the same fighters in their top 10, top 15. So as a contender, you're not constrained by that. You get to choose from the entire heavyweight division, just about, outside of the champions. If you can't get a shot, you get to choose everybody. You get to approach any fighter and say, okay, do you want to fight? That's the position that Tyson Fury is in. So who will he fight? Will he take on somebody dangerous? How long is he going to have to wait? Because the signs right now for Joshua versus Wilder, the undisputed fight, are not looking good, at least publicly. Deontay Wilder coming out saying that Joshua's desperate for the fight, but all he wants to do is freeze Joshua out of the picture. This is what has come out of Wilder's own mouth. When you're hearing stuff like that, it doesn't exactly fill you with hope. So maybe Wilder versus Fury will happen next if Wilder just straight up don't want to fight Joshua. We'll see. But in the event the Wilder Joshua does happen, let's say it happens could it happen in April? Maybe. In that instance, would Tyson Fury take a stay busy fight? And who would you recommend him taking a stay busy fight against? Or maybe he'd take on a top contender. It depends how ambitious he wants to get. Excuse me. Will he go the Dillian Whyte route? And I don't necessarily mean fighting Dillian Whyte. I mean, Dillian Whyte is not somebody to wait around and take on soft touches when he's waiting for his title shot. No. He's taking on dangerous. He took on Joseph Parker when he was waiting for a title shot. He's now taking on Chisora. Okay, Chisora is pretty much a gatekeeper in the heavyweight division, a borderline journeyman in the past few years, but he did have a good win over Takam, and that first fight with Dillian Whyte was very, very close. That was a tough fight for Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte escaped with a victory by the narrowest of margins, by the skin of his teeth. For him to be going back in the ring against Derek Chisora, that's not a risk-free fight, given what happened first time around. Will Tyson Fury go that kind of route? Take on people who present a danger to him? Or will he continue down the road of taking on soft touches and just waiting for a shot against whoever, Wilder or Joshua? You let me know what you think he should do, and you let me know what you think he will do. Tyson Fury's rehabilitation process is not yet complete. He was nowhere near 100% against Deontay Wilder. And as the old saying goes, steel sharpens steel. So he would have gained a lot from the Wilder fight. But will his steel get blunted if he starts taking on weak opposition again? Was his steel sufficiently sharpened by the Wilder fight to whereby even if he has to wait another 12 months for his next world title fight, we'll see an improvement. We're certainly going to see an improvement in his fitness, hopefully. I hope Tyson Fury doesn't fall off the wagon again and start abusing his body. I hope he maintains his mental health, etc., because he is a very talented heavyweight. And the more the merrier. The more talented heavyweights we have, the better, as far as I'm concerned. So I want to see Tyson Fury back to his best. I know Tyson Fury is somebody who lives in the moment, and he keeps saying that the version of himself that fought Klitschko is dead and buried and gone. I'd at least like to see the current version of Tyson Fury in the same kind of physical shape that he was against Klitschko. Because he was noticeably faster against Klitschko, noticeably more mobile against Klitschko than he was against Deontay Wilder. One thing I'll say in the Wilder fight is Fury appeared to have better head movement. He'd incorporated what he called the Mayweather shoulder roll, the Mayweather defense. And that was more evident against Wilder than it was against Klitschko. Perhaps because he knew he couldn't move the way he was moving against Klitschko. So he knew he had to incorporate more upper body movement to compensate for the fact that his legs were not as fresh and not as quick. His feet weren't as quick as when he fought Klitschko. So perhaps that's why he knew he had to incorporate more head movement, slicker defense. But be that as it may, I still believe there's a lot more to come from Tyson Fury. We did not see him anywhere near his best against Deontay Wilder. He's better than that. And I want to see when Tyson Fury goes in to his next world title fight, whether it's against Wilder or whether it's against the winner of Wilder Joshua, I want to see Tyson Fury at the absolute best he can be. And is that possible if he waits out 12 months without fighting? Or waits out 6 months, 9 months without fighting, or only fighting weak contenders? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What is Tyson Fury's best course of action? Take on somebody dangerous? Roll the dice? Maybe he's that confident. I mean, there are other big fights out there that Tyson Fury can take where he can make a lot of money. Tyson Fury says he's not in it for the money. I mean, a lot of fighters say that. But you have to at least be partly in it for the money. He says he's not in it for the money, but then he posts tweets saying the reason he signed with Frank Warren is because Frank Warren paid him millions for his first 2 fights. Contradictory, right? Because that would indicate that he took the Frank Warren route because of the money. Well, that's basically what he said. So there are other fights out there outside of the champions where Tyson Fury can make money. His popularity in the UK is growing and growing. If he was to bring over a mouthy American like Jarrell Miller, that could sell. If he was to fight Dillian Whyte, if Dillian Whyte destroys Derek Chisora, then Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury, I think, becomes a viable fight in the UK. Yeah. Obviously, if Chisora beats Whyte, or Whyte struggles with Chisora, Fury versus either Chisora or Fury versus an unconvincing Dillian Whyte, I don't think it's really that viable. He's beaten Chisora twice before, so there's no need to go there again. And if Dillian Whyte only scrapes by a guy who Tyson Fury toyed with in their last fight, how do you really sell that? Perhaps Tyson Fury will take on Dominic Breazeale. Dominic Breazeale might do that. Dominic Breazeale right now is the WBC mandatory. If Tyson Fury was to fight, I mean, Breazeale's probably feeling like he's never going to get a world title shot. He's been waiting, over a year now for his WBC shot? He might be thinking, you know what? Tyson Fury ain't a world title shot, but it's the closest I'm going to get to it right now. And if they pay me the right amount of money, I'll do it. How confident would Dominic Breazeale be, though, going into that fight? Dominic Breazeale really wants Wilder. He's got a personal grudge with Wilder, and I do believe that Dominic Breazeale truly believes in his heart that he can beat Wilder, because Wilder is technically deficient. Wilder does give you opportunities. But with Tyson Fury, would Dominic Breazeale truly believe he could beat him? I don't know, man. In my head, I'm thinking Dominic Breazeale probably believes that he gets schooled and barely wins a round against Tyson Fury. Breazeale's a very big guy. He can punch. He's tough. He's got a lot of heart. But he's slow as molasses. He's very easy to hit. No head movement. Barely any defense there at all. It will be a much easier fight from what I can see for Tyson Fury than Wilder was. So that's a potential fight right there. Maybe Tyson Fury would take on Luis Ortiz. I remember when Tyson Fury still had belts and he was talking about the Luis Ortiz fight. Was it when he still had belts, or was it before the Klitschko fight? I can't remember now, but Tyson Fury basically came out and said, who the hell wants to fight Luis Ortiz? A big, dangerous Cuban southpaw. I ain't trying to fight him anytime soon, or words to that effect. Does he still have that same attitude towards Luis Ortiz? Or is he in a different space now mentally? Would he be willing to take on Ortiz in I guess, a big fight in the UK? No point in having it in the States. Now, you have to give Tyson Fury a massive amount of credit for defeating Vladimir Klitschko in the way that he did in Klitschko's adopted backyard. You have to give Tyson Fury a massive amount of credit for running Deontay Wilder so close a few weeks ago in Deontay Wilder's home country. Massive credit for that. The amount of pressure. Well, to be fair, the home fighter usually feels more pressure, but in terms of the officiating, the crowd being out of your comfort zone, these are things you have to deal with as an away fighter, particularly when you're fighting a champion. Especially with the Klitschko fight. There was all kind of shenanigans that went against Tyson Fury there. You have to give him massive credit for still being able to perform to the level he did amidst all those shenanigans from Team Klitschko. But be that as it may, you've got, a lot of people running around saying Tyson Fury fights champions in their backyards, but Anthony Joshua won't do the same. Tyson Fury fought champions in their backyards because he had no other choice. You really think Klitschko would have fought Tyson Fury in the UK in the first fight? Hell no. You really think Deontay Wilder would have fought Tyson Fury in the UK for their first fight? Hell no. He fought them in their backyards because that's the only way he was going to get a title shot against them. It was by necessity, not by choice. Yeah, he chose to go ahead with a fight and chose to fly over there, but in terms of getting a title shot, there was no choice other than to go to their backyards. With Anthony Joshua, he had a choice. He was the money man. Charles Martin was a nobody in the United States. They had to pay a lot of money, apparently, to get Charles Martin over, but they paid the money. They got him over to the UK. Tyson Fury wasn't in such a privileged position. And there ain't nothing wrong with being privileged in the sense that you got a powerful promoter behind you who's willing to pay the money and get fights in the UK. I mean, Frank Warren, Fury's current promoter, used to be a massive advocate for having home advantage. You don't hear it so much now from Frank Warren because he generally doesn't have the money to bring big names over to the UK anymore. That's why he's not talking about home advantage now. He used to criticize Hearn for sending his fighters overseas. Oh, yes, he did. Any of you guys remember this? This is one of the things that Frank Warren used to come out with all the time, criticizing Hearn for sending their fighters overseas, saying you need home advantage and we take a hit on shows just to bring champions over to give our guys home advantage. This is what Warren was on about. He don't give them home advantage now because why? I mean, look at the current financial situation, the current financial status of his company. So, for example, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here. When Tyson Fury was set to fight the rematch of Vladimir Klitschko, where was it supposed to be? In the UK. You see, so when Tyson Fury's given a choice, when he is in the A-side position, he's going to choose to have the fights in the UK, just like Joshua's doing, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're the A-side, why not have the fight in your backyard? Why not have the fight, in a location of your choosing and give yourself as many advantages as possible? Why not do that? As long as it's within the rules, why wouldn't you do that? I mean, I remember when Amir Khan fought Lamont Peterson in Washington, D.C., and Khan was heavily criticized both before and after the fight for fighting Peterson in Peterson's backyard when he didn't have to. Peterson was just a contender. Khan was the champion. Why on earth was he fighting Peterson in Peterson's backyard? What for? You don't have to. You open yourself up to shenanigans. And Khan was complaining after the fight that the officiating was poor. Well, too late. That's what can happen. If you are the A side, why are you going to give the B side advantages that they don't need to have? So, no issue with Tyson Fury trying to have the Vladimir Klitschko rematch in London. That's what he's supposed to be doing. But at the same time, no issue with Anthony Joshua fighting all his fights so far in the UK. Well, he's the A side. Why would he? I mean, Tyson Fury's own dad, John Fury, is basically echoing the sentiments of Anthony Joshua. He told his son, you don't need to go over to the States. John Fury has said this in the past couple of weeks, that the UK is now the epicenter of heavyweight boxing. We don't need to go anywhere. Let them come here. That's what John Fury, Tyson's own dad, is saying. And I definitely agree with him on that. The UK is the epicenter. And look, Tyson and his dad disagree on things. Tyson's been saying, well, if you look in the past, Lennox Lewis and all these fighters have gone to the States, and you have to go to the States to, make yourself a big name. So him and his dad are disagreeing. Well, times have changed. So that's why I agree with John Fury. Times have changed. Boxing in the United States is nowhere near as strong as it was during the 1990s, when Lennox Lewis was mainly basing himself in the States for his fights. Boxing was way, way stronger in the United States then, and a lot weaker in the UK than it is today. So the dynamics have changed. All of that, you need to go to the States to be a star business, you're living in the past. Now, there's nothing wrong with having 1 or 2 fights in the States. And look, the situation with American boxing might change. It might improve. We might go back to, and I want it to improve. I want it to get back to how it was in the 1990s and the 80s and stuff like that, when American boxing was really strong. When it wasn't a niche sport, when it was a mainstream sport. I want it to get back to that. And if it does get back to that, then yes. But then you're going to have to go to the States if you want to be a star. But right now, that's not the case. Anthony Joshua is making far more money than Deontay Wilder. That's not up for debate. It's just facts. Far more money. Drawing far bigger crowds. So, that's my take on it, people. Tyson Fury has still got a long way to go in terms of his rehabilitation. I hope to see him back to his best. And then we can see him square off with the best. But what's he going to do in the meantime? Who's he going to fight? Is he going to wait it out? Will it hurt him? Will it help him? I mean, that Wilder fight, he took some tough punches on a couple of occasions there. He even took some stiff jabs from Deontay Wilder here and there. A lot of people are sleeping on those jabs, but there were times when Tyson Fury had his head rocked back by some solid Deontay Wilder jabs, and he also took some solid body shots from Deontay Wilder throughout the fight. A lot of people miss those. Sometimes we look at these boxers, especially people who have never boxed themselves, they look at these boxers and they just take it for granted that they can take the punches. Listen, when Deontay Wilder's hitting you with them skinny, bony knuckles, you're going to be feeling that for a few days afterwards, maybe even a week or so. Because Tyson Fury didn't get hit that much. But the amount he did get hit, trust me, you'll be feeling it for a few days afterwards. Maybe even longer than that. Tyson Fury said he actually hurt his hand in the Deontay Wilder fight, so he needs to recover from that. So once he's rested and recovered, hopefully straight back in the gym, getting himself in even better condition. I don't know if Tyson Fury works with a strength and conditioning coach, the kind of level of strength and conditioning coach that a David Hay, etc. would work with. And look, I don't think every fighter needs a strength and conditioning coach. But given the fact that Tyson Fury is trying to rehabilitate himself, perhaps it would help at this point in terms of getting himself back to the way he was against Klitschko, or as close to that as possible. Perhaps it would help if he did have a strength and conditioning coach and a nutritionist, if he doesn't already have one. Because, you see, it's very simple with me. I want to see every fighter fulfill their potential. That's what I want to see. I want to see every fighter fight the absolute best they can possibly fight and be the absolute best they can possibly be. It's popular in this day and age to talk about someone being their best version. I want to see Tyson Fury be his best version. I want to see Wilder be his best version, Joshua be his best version, Miller, everybody. Why? Because that provides me the best entertainment. The better they are, the more entertaining it's going to be. We're going to see stuff we ain't seen before. We're going to be impressed. So anyway, let me know what you guys feel in the comment section below about everything I talked about in this video. All right, it's happening. I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.